Okay, where do we go?
Okay. Hi, everybody. This is a bigger crowd than I expected for Valentine's Day, but happy Valentine's Day.
We all want to see Norbie.
Yeah, everyone wants to see Norbie.
Pretty hard up.
Well, I have something that Paul wanted me to read out to everybody, so I will just read this straight from him. Welcome to the 11th Live and Public Tell Like It Was interview. This event is sponsored by Friends of Historic Augusta in cooperation with the Harmonie Verein Arts Center. Tonight, our guest is Norbie Struckhoff, a fifth-generation Augusta farmer, the president of Bent Oak Mutual Insurance, and the commander of American Legion Post 262, Harry Hafferkamp. They say every story has a backstory, and the story of our selection of Norbie as an interviewee is no exception. In late fall of 2021, Paul Oviatt was asked to help find more history on an original founder of Harmonie Verein. The request for help also came with a word to the wise. It was suggested that Paul go to the basement storeroom of the Harmonie Verein and look into a dusty, moldy file cabinet that was full of old documents. Of course, Paul thought he had received really a hot tip. He had visions of documents dating back to the 1860s that would fully tell the story of the first 60 years of Harmonie Verein in Augusta. That's not exactly what he found. But the file cabinet did contain plenty of dusty history of Post 262. Paul was especially drawn to an old checkbook from the Bank of Augusta, which belonged to the American Legion. The ledger showed the inflow and outflow of funds from 1921, when the Post of 262 first leased Harmonie Verein, until December 1931, when the Bank of Augusta collapsed under the weight of the Great Depression. So, Paul borrowed the checkbook to photo it and use it in his stories. He reported his audacious repurposing of Trey Smith and Bob Struckhoff, but somehow word never reached Commander Norbie Struckhoff. Fast forward to fall 2022, and Norbie was asking, hey, where's this checkbook? He told Trey that the guilty party should anonymously leave the checkbook at the Augusta Emporium and direct the staff to see that it fell into the right hands of Bob Struckhoff when he comes in for his morning coffee. No questions will be asked. This, of course, gave ye old town interviewer a big laugh. He asked Trey Smith for Norbie's cell number so that he, Paul, could probably claim his well-intentioned confiscation. But Paul wasn't satisfied with merely confessing to the commander. No way. Just to stir the pot, he asked Norbie to be our guest for the February Tell It Like It Was. What could be more appropriate than having the commander of Post 262, Harry Hafferkamp, share his knowledge of the history of American Legion at the Harmonie Verein. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Norbie Struckhoff with your applause. So Norbie, we could just ask a few questions, or unless you have a story all queued up.
Ask a question.
Well, where were you born?
Well, St. Francis Hospital in Washington, if you want the exact spot.
What year? Do you want to give that?
1945 model.
Model. That's nice. So vintage?
Pardon?
Vintage?
Evidently, yes.
Yeah. And your parents?
Victor and Jalita.
Are they from the area?
Yes.
Good. And you went to school. Which school did you go to?
A lot of 8 grades at Immaculate Conception. Then that's 4 years at Georgia. And 4 years at Mizzou. So, got a piece of paper saying I'm smart, but I'm not too sure.
You're smart.
What was your mother's maiden name?
Struckhoff.
Oh, your adult Struckhoff.
Yeah.
Oh, that explains things.
That's, I was Struckhoff, and all the Struckhoffs around here, I'm related to through my mother. My dad had a brother that lived in St. Louis, and so they weren't related, but Dad was, well, my paternal grandmother was a Glosmeyer from Concord Hill, so, and my then all the readers are in there too, so I got lots of relations with them. So, and, well, most of you know, my wife passed away in 2010 from cancer, so been on my own for a while. I got 4 kids, 4 children. Randy's over here, if you raise your hand, you probably most of you know him. His wife Lynette. And Jennifer, daughter, she's here somewhere. There she is. And her husband Dave. They live in Wildwood. I got another boy, Kevin, who is doing the farm work now. He's pretty well managing it. He tells me what to do. And I got a daughter, Angie, in Ohio. She's married to a small animal vet, and we got her family there, so.
That's good.
That's my history.
Good family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your wife's maiden name was Bear, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was a very
Yeah.
local name.
Are you living now in the house that you grew up in?
No. My sister-in-law, Barb, back there, well, she was married to my brother. They lived in the house, well, where I was basically born. But after we got married, we built a house on top of the hill, so I'm still on the farm, but I built my own, built a house.
So can we talk about some of your jobs?
After graduated from the zoo, I put in my time in the service and got out of service in 1970. My dad turned 62, he retired, I slid in. I've been there ever since, so that's 50 some years.
Yeah, there's 50 years of good stories then, right?
Yeah, there's a few of them there.
Do you have a few?
No. We may get to some later, I don't know.
All right, we'll dig it up. It'll hit you and all of a sudden we'll get it.
Yeah.
What was your degree in?
Agronomy, crop production. So, that one, well, we can start, I guess. Okay,
Talk about Legion, how you got involved with the Legion?
yeah, we can start with that. That's
Can you just describe what's on the screen for everybody too?
that is the charter for Harry H. Harry Camp. Was it 1920? 1920, I forget the exact year. But I have that at home. If we have a better place to put it, we can put it there. But it's there for the time being.
So at the end of World War I, after the war was over, the federal government encouraged communities to establish American Legion posts? Is that kind of how it worked?
I can't speak from knowledge of knowing it, but
Yeah.
well, didn't they form it because to take care of widows, to farm organization?
I'm not sure. I always heard it was like a federal, I read about it somewhere, and that they wanted, there was so many people suffering from shell shock after that war. You know, that was kind of a trench warfare.
Right.
And they wanted some organization to sort of give these soldiers a place to,
You may well be right, but I can go there a little bit too. Talk about shell shock and everything like that. Nowadays we got PTSD and all of that. And back in '68 when I was in service, there were a lot of people who had PTSD, but you were told to deal with it. You didn't really have, or nobody was interested in it.
So you were involved in the early Vietnam?
I went to Vietnam in '68, and got out of Vietnam in '69. So, but And I could, just thinking if World War I was called PTSD, I don't know if that was even recognized then, or
Probably not.
people just, you deal with it, you don't.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's my opinion, I probably shouldn't have said it, but
What's your opinion?
because it may not be true.
It wasn't recognized until the last 20, 30 years.
Right. Yeah,
It's definitely going on. I know my grandfather had some of that.
yeah. He had some PTSD, they would call it nowadays.
Yeah,
But back then, you just,
saw a lot.
mhm.
So thank you for your service.
Yes.
Understandable.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Like I said, it wasn't my idea.
Where did you train at?
Basic training, Fort Underwood, AIT at Fort Ord, California. And then went to Vietnam. I was over there 3.5, 4 months. And I got hit in the hand from a mortar round, broken bones and cut some tendons. And back in that time, that was enough to get you out of the country, so they called it $1 million wound, and that's what I got. So I was lucky. Thought I got somewhere. So
So this next picture, we think is the,
I'm pretty sure that's the Ladies Auxiliary Charter. I remember it was water stain, I remember it. And I got that at home too. But the ladies did a lot. Go back to, well, back in the 70s and 80s when the Legion was a going thing. They did dinners on a Legion picnic and contributed a lot. So I'll go back, I'll tell you a little story. Huey Monograph, I'm sure most of you remember him. He told me the story. His dad, Hubert, was basically the same age as Harry H. Haverkamp. And when Harry H. Haverkamp left for service, he gave Mr. Monograph his squirrel gun to keep for him. Harry H. said, I'll give you this, with a rifle or shotgun, probably a rifle, because I'm not coming back. And, well, Mr. Monograph, no, yeah, you'll be okay, you'll be coming back. So Hubert took the squirrel gun, and, well, he didn't come back. And Hubert was telling me about that, this has been a few years ago, and he would, I can't swear on the Bible, but I got the direct impression that he would like to present that rifle to the Legion. And I told him at the time that I wasn't comfortable taking it here because of security. I mean, we were only here once a month, and we displayed it. Good chance it might disappear. So I don't know if the Harmonie Verein is interested in inquiring into it. I can't answer. I mean, if you're interested, but I can't answer if they would give it up. But it might be if the Harmonie Verein is interested in it.
Or even the museum.
Well, I mean, that would be something for somebody to go check out if they wanted to.
We would love to.
I remember, well, I joined in 70 when I forgot on service. My future father-in-law was adjutant here at Legion, so Jim Bear, a lot of you know him. And we didn't have a choice whether we wanted to join or not. You can hear the papers, right? I'll come up here and go to work. So that's how I got started. And sidebar, Jim Bear, my father-in-law, he was in World War II, he was in the Marines, and he was on the Iwo Jima. And one day they raised a flag on Iwo Jima. He was 3 hills over. He was right in the middle of it. So that was always a pretty proud fact. So,
Would you like to move on to the next photo?
Well, that's,
yeah. Very African, yeah.
yeah. Army of the United States of America, died with honor in the service of his country on the blank day of 1918. I can't read that tiny. And then here we have a picture of his tombstone. Harry A.H. Haverkamp. What does that say?
1894, which is,
Yeah,
1890.
the next line says 1894 to 1918, killed in France.
yeah. Yeah, that's where we lay the poppy every year at Memorial Day service. So,
Can you tell a little bit more about this service that you have on Memorial Day?
Years ago, Legion formed up over here, and then we marched to the cemetery and did our service. And then we formed up by the Jackson Street, and we marched over to the grave. Now, the last couple of years, we just struggled over there and tried to stand straight. It's not getting any prettier, I know that. But means a lot to us because we are the lucky ones. And we want to, as always, dead people in mind, everybody goes, Happy Memorial Day, Happy Memorial Day, thank you for your service. Tell you what it's about. Veterans Day, what that's about. Memorial Day is we remember the ones that died.
Well, I'm glad that that is something that you carry on for the town, and that it means a lot to everybody.
Back in the 70s, 80s, we'd have it, but a few people would show up. But after September 11th of 2001, all of a sudden the light went on. People started appreciating the veterans. It's good to see. We're grateful.
I guess you marched in quite a few of the parades that they used to have here in town too.
Yeah. Well, it was formed up down to the town square, and we march up. We have a band from somewhere, didn't we? No, we just up, 2, 3 bands. But Tom Hale brought some pictures that Jim Peters took of the parade back in the 70s. There were some pretty good times.
They're displayed over on the table over there after we're done, so feel free to go over there and take a
There
look.
are pictures of, 3 big pigs roasting a human?
Roasting Jerry Eagle.
Yeah.
And another one of a hot dog machine where they put the dogs in one end and pull hot dogs out of the other end. And then there's another one where they had cannibals had a pot with a human in a pot, instant people food. So
Kind of a theme going on there.
yeah.
So what did you do growing up with your wife? When did you all meet? I guess since she was a bear, she was here in Augusta, and did you go to grade school together?
She was 4 years behind me, 5 years behind me. I don't remember her from grade school. So must not have been impressed then, but I got impressed later. But no, she was. Yeah, that was a good time. Wish it would have lasted a little longer, but not our call.
What did you do on a typical weekend?
Before year 2000, we milked cows on weekend. But now we can't say nothing spectacular. Just lived our life, took care of it.
Dances or movies, or when you guys were
Very few movies. After I got out of service, I realized all movies are fake. I wasn't interested in it, and that's a quirk I had. But we go to dances. Well, she had 4 sisters, and there was always something stirring on the weekend. Somebody would barbecue on her. And you got kids at ball games, and then you got kids in high school. And my one daughter was a drum major in high school, so there was a lot of going there. Well, brag a little bit, I guess, but when she was senior in high school, Georgia band got selected to go to the 89 presidential inauguration. So we went there. We didn't march. Music on the side. But that was a pretty big deal.
In the 70s, and these were pretty active.
Yeah, when Jim Barrow was commander, we was open every Sunday. Was it every Sunday, Bob? Or was it once a month? Once a month, where they had a big pit outside and barbecued chicken and pork steaks and sold them. And we had a pool table downstairs and a lot of cold beer. So that killed a little time. But,
So to raise money to pay the bills here all the years that you were commander, was mainly the money raised through those monthly
yeah.
cookouts?
Yeah, when we started, the bathrooms were outside.
I can remember that. Yeah, that was right over the
Yeah.
fence line there, yeah.
They were out there, and then we put them inside. Then they weren't big enough, so then we did them as they are now.
Do you remember what year you brought the bathrooms inside?
That had to be right after I joined, or was it before that? You remember, Bob?
I remember.
Well, see, didn't we put this addition on in 68, 69? I think that was right before I joined.
My mom and dad had the reception here, they got married in 71, and that wasn't here yet. But the bathrooms were, so. But no AC in August.
The bathrooms went in then before the addition went on. I guess I was busy doing my own thing. I know Jim and Ralph did a lot of work. Well, I'm sure Jim ramrodded it, and he told Ralph what to do. But I didn't get in on that. I thought maybe that was done before I got out of service. But you're right. Already.
Norbie, how many guys were members or involved at its peak when you were involved? And how many guys are left now? What's going on now?
They were like 93. 93 when we joined, I got it in 95.
In 90, I remember about 60 or 70, but I can't tell you who they were, but I remember we had about 8 or 9 World War I veterans. At that time, that was.
107.
But we was at 50 for a while, but it's been going down. And right now we got, what, 6?
Yeah.
6 plus 3, we got 10, longer than that, 15, 20 years ago, I guess, Legion Post down at Harvester folded, and we had 4 guys from down there joined here, so we got about 10 or 11 members, and they came up here. Well, they helped at the dinners. They were real good workers, but well, one of them is cast away now at least, and the other one.
Can you tell us, oh, sorry. I was just going to say, can you tell us who's in these pictures here?
Yeah. Look at the one on the left, with the shiny glasses. That's Ralph. And to his right is a real good picture of Denny Peeper's side of his face. He's there, and then then you got Ralph, and you got Bob. And in back you got Hank Endersman, Whip Jasper, Paul Kemper. And the goofy guy in front is me,
With beer in his hand.
and a beer in the hand. That's the way I recognize it. Leighton Raymar, Hubie Monatrot, Leonard Struckhoff in front of him, and Al Jacob on the outside. Down in the front on the far side is Ray Beerbaum, Dickie Wallman, Bob Kemner, Vic Cookham, and Jerry Hale.
Potato salad.
I gotta put in a plug for Jerry. Well, he was one of a kind. He was the swizzle stick that stirred the drink, I'll tell you. He always had something going. But a bigger hearted man than there never was. If you needed help, he was there. But there's out of that picture, this is what, a 2005 picture? Or, I don't know, there's 4 of us left.
Oh,
So-
that was the next picture. This one was taken in 2016.
Okay, that one's 2016. There you got Leighton Raymar in front, Jim Holmberg in front, Glenn Kleesner, he's here. In front and second, behind Leighton, you got Hank, Ralph, Bob, Eddie Montrot, and back of their nose sticking up there, that's me, and Danny Pieper, Al Jacob, and Vic Cookham, and Paul Kemner. And what, there's 4 of us left, so. That's why we had to do something with this building. But we're glad the way it turned out, that's for sure.
So you have many memories with these men and in this building. What are some of your top memories? Something that really warms your heart?
Well, going back, talking about Jerry again, I guess that was in the 70s when he started the 3D dances, where you drink, dine, and dance for one money. You pay your, I think it was what, $12 a couple back then, or $10 a couple. You come in, and those were doing things for a while. For a while, you couldn't. You have three of them a year or something like that, and just places. Well, Jerry could always find room for 2 more, but it was full. But after a while, that went out of style too. Kind of got tired of it, but that kept this place afloat for many years. So, what are pictures?
We can kind of switch gears. We have some pictures of the bank building, but,
Oh yeah,
these.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you mostly know that's the downstairs bar, the bomb shelter up there. And so far, it's never gone off, so I hope it stays that way.
Where did that end up at?
Who brought that bomb in? And where'd it come from?
I can't answer that. I don't think anybody can.
Where did that end up at?
It's still down.
Is it still that? Oh, okay.
But
You've seen it.
please up the next picture.
Well, we also, in this picture, I just wanted to point out, there's that symbol of the American Legion up at the top left corner. And there is still, behind these curtains, the Legion emblem on the wall up here.
Wait, go back to the other picture. There's 2 of them, one on each side of the bomb, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That picture where you see the charter on the left, that picture above it, just a whole bunch of guys. Marvin Singh gave that to the Legion. That, was it Marvin or Harvey's? I think it was Marvin. Company in basic training, I guess. But there's a whole bunch of guys there from back then.
Did you serve with anyone here from Augusta?
We was in the same time and never served with one. Went to got drafted, went down to St. Charles, or down to St. Louis, sworn in, got up, put on a bus, going down to Fort Leonardwood. Started talking to this guy, Kenny Vick from Wentzville, who was going down together. And that worked out fine. Got down to basic training. And we ended up in the same unit down there in training, so that was good. You know, we went to Fort Ord for AIT, and here we ended up in the same unit there. We both got orders from Vietnam. Flew over together, and you go into the reception station there for about a week until they figured out where they were going to send you. So I got my notice, and I was going north, so see ya. Got my unit. About 3 days later, here he comes traipsing in. He's in my unit too, so we was together. We was over there. I got hit about 15 minutes before he did. He got hit in the jugular vein, and he about bled to death. He was in bad shape. But so.
Have you seen him since then, or did you keep in touch?
We talked, but I don't know, he went his way and I went mine. Prison families back in those days, and just back when he was in service, you were told don't get too close to anybody, because when one gets killed, we don't want you getting screwed up. So we kind of did that, abided by that, and just never got close to him, but we know each other.
So I was wondering if you had any Army buddies you kept contact with. I know my dad had like 3 different guys that he...
No, I never got close to anybody. I just moved around too much, and just... I know your dad had it.
Yeah, he had one in Iowa and one in Florida, one in Nebraska.
Oh, I know about the one in Florida.
Yeah.
One in Nebraska and Iowa you talked about.
The last one that passed away was the one up in, well, the one still, he's still living, he's up in northwest Nebraska. I took dad up to see him shortly after the mom passed away.
There, our post certificate of continuous membership for 60 years. And you go across the center, on the left is Leonard Struckhoff, Jim Bear, and Paul Kemper. Those were continuous members for 60 years here, so Paul's the only one left out of that. Well, Paul's a World War II guy, and I don't think we have any Korean veterans left. I think it's Paul World War II, the rest of us are Vietnam. And there's nobody after Vietnam as a member.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the transition from the post to Harmonie Verein again?
Yeah, we talked about it for a lot of years, what we're going to do with this place, and we finally come up with the idea to see if the Chamber of Commerce was interested, because we wanted to see it continue as a community thing. We didn't want it commercialization wasn't our first choice neither. And we didn't want to see it to be destroyed because there was too much history here. And so I sent letters to the Chamber of Commerce and somebody else in town. No, sent out a couple letters, but anyway, didn't hear anything. And was it Randall, you the one that made contact with us? And we started talking, and I guess Randall, you gotta take the blame for buying it, Randall. Because we met with him, and well, it took a long time to get organized. You had to start from scratch and you end up organizing the Harmonie Verein. You got to get the organization, get an organization organized to think. Well, first you had to convince them to do it, then to actually do it. And no, everybody's glad it worked out the way it did because it's something the community can be proud of. So
I think the community is very proud.
it's a going thing. So it turned out the way we wanted it to now. Just to keep it good. It's a job. I know that, to keep it going.
Well, good. Maybe Trey can jump in right now and say, what type of job is it? It's a big one. Daily job.
We're really very excited to be here and to be able to not only preserve the property, but, you know, offer a venue that fits the town and the area, you know. It's going to be an arts center, but we're also going to have an emphasis on preserving cultural heritage and so forth. The Legion is a big part of that. So, and Norbie's been great about, he gave us some great terms. I went to him with a very buyer-friendly proposal, and he's great. So it's a great relationship. So.
Well, he must have trusted your vision.
We feel privileged to be here to carry on, and we'll always, you know, make the history of the Legion part of our story, for sure.
Well, the part of the deal was, I guess, figuring a price for the hall. The money we received, we cannot spend because it's a fraternal or not-for-profit thing. So we have to turn around and spend that money. Well, we can't take it and use it ourselves. So our biggest thing that we like to do, boys state and girls state, where we send. And we've sent quite a few. And I have yet to have one come back and say, that was a waste of time. They come back and did you go, Glenn? Did you ever go?
I did not.
Okay. But Paul, Bob went. Paul, you went, didn't you? Cafe dinner?
3 of my kids.
Oh, that's the way it was. But
Yeah, I did go too, yeah.
that's what I thought you did, but I wasn't.
Oh, no.
You forgot, huh? But the kids that go really enjoy it, or they tell us they do, and it teaches them leadership and responsibility. My grandson went this past year, and I went down for the graduation. And naturally you go out to eat after you get done. And we went out, and he couldn't talk. He was so hoarse from after the graduation. They really get them cranked up. They get them very organized. But that's where we like to spend our money. And well, we had one family burned out of their house. We give them some money, and another family's got a big medical expenses. So we're trying to be good stewards of the money, but that's why we didn't ask Arm and Leg for the building, because I mean, we wanted to keep it. We didn't want to scare you off.
Very, very nice.
Is there anything else you want to add, Trey?
Nice. We just, again, we have plans to do some restoration here, renovation and restoration. We're going to expand a little bit, but do it without losing the charm and the feel of the history and everything. So, again, we are just feel privileged to be here and to be able to carry on the story of the American Legion. It'll always be a part of what we're doing. So good, hopefully be good stewards. The Legion was a great steward. of this property when they took it over? Was it 1920? Yeah. Up until,
Well, Legion farmed in 1920. I don't know when they started using this building, but I got the deed over there from when the Legion bought it from the Harmonie Verein in 1941. It's got all the names of the original owners. It's over there, so
wow.
it's kind of interesting.
So it was leased until that point, from 1920 to 1941?
I don't know when they started leasing it. It was rented.
Right.
It was rented, and I did hear one time, but I never. But
Was the Harmonie Verein a private what kind of organization was that?
it says, it's on the deed, it says an unincorporated group, or I can't say group or organization, I don't know what it says, but it lists about 10 names and their wives, and one guy was single, but the names are all over there on that. They conveyed the building or the property to the American Legion. Now, how they all had it, I don't know if, I guess all of them had ownership in it, because otherwise you wouldn't have listed it. I don't know who determined what the owners were.
Were they all musicians?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's, I mean, Randall might be able to speak to this, but it's been a bit of a mystery. I had a chance to visit with Jen's grandmother, Mallinckrodt, Anita, golly. She'd come back from her grave and slap me. Yeah, okay, but anyway, I had a chance to visit with her a little bit about it, and Randall the same, but it seems a little ambiguous as to what happened at the end of World War I, as to, was it actually sold to the Legion? Was there a deed transfer, or was there simply a confiscation because of the sentiment in the United States at the end of World War I, which is a very plausible possibility.
The Harmonie Verein, to answer your question, was a philanthropic organization formed to promote the culture of the community, which was basically German at the time. Prior to that stage being built, there were concerts held out here in the cow pasture, actually prior to this building being built. And then the Harmonie Verein, well, they had a house up where Mount Pleasant is, and they established a library over there. And then the concerts would be in the cow pasture here. Dr. Gerling, who bought my house in 1855, his wife conducted some of the concerts out here with her students, and they were playing Beethoven and Chopin. So it was pretty sophisticated. And then as the World War I came and the political issues started changing, the German part of it kind of went away. And then, North, as I understand it, it was sort of a touch and go of the Harmonie Verein trying to continue, and the Legion needing a place to meet, and that you guys kind of rented, I think, initially, or leased.
Yeah.
And then that you fell on some hard times, and they worked with you, and then they fell on hard times, and you worked with them, and it was a trade back and forth there. And then finally, I think you mentioned 1941, that the Legion actually then purchased it.
Right.
Totally. So
Is that all?
until that time, it was trading back and forth, the one letting the other use it.
Right. That's interesting. I'm just learning it here right now. I wonder if the 1941 transaction is the furthest back the county has on record of a transaction occurring. a sale of property. Is that your understanding?
That's my understanding.
Well,
I don't know, if we go back and look at title searches.
Yeah.
yeah,
Might
but,
be in one of the deepest books.
but that deed that's over there, it lists the, I guess, owners of the Harmonie Verein agreeing to sell the property to the Legion, so, but it doesn't say when they bought it or owned it or whatever.
Well, it makes for good legends, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Stories and, you know.
Yeah, if there's any history, it's probably in Anita's book, and if it's not there, I sure as heck don't know any.
Have Paul research it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, give them a sign.
Mark, what would be some of the, I say some, because I know there's not just one, what would be some of the most interesting or exciting things that have happened here with you and the Legion and the functioning of this?
Help me out, Bob.
That you can talk about.
We had a picnic going on in 69 when Armstrong built some moon that afternoon. When was the picnic? I remember it.
Third weekend in July.
Third weekend in July.
It was
68 or 59, whenever we,
69, because I was at Fort Riley when he landed on the moon.
I remember. And that was a big deal. Yep.
Yeah.
So did you
Did
have,
the parade and the picnic stop the same year, or was it, what year, do you remember that, Norbie?
That it stopped?
Yeah,
The parade and everything was together, right?
it was always the same together, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You had a lot of dances here, we had New Year's Eve dances,
Dances.
Yeah. We had boat club dances the week after Easter, Saturday after Easter, there's always boat club. But New Year's dance, Christmas dance,
Halloween,
yeah, we had some Halloween dances here.
Autumn weddings.
Wild West.
I was one of them.
You got married here?
Reception.
Reception here?
Yeah.
What year was that? You got married?
71.
71?
Norbie, when was the gazebo built? And what, didn't they have band concerts there too, right? Is that what they used it for? Is that why it was built, because of that, or what?
Well, band concerts, band would put sit up there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's where the Harmonie Verein had their music. But when it was built, I have no idea.
Probably after they got done playing in the cafe.
When it got too messy, I guess.
That's why they elevated it.
When the wrong guy stepped in the wrong place, I guess they
Yeah,
do a
right.
gazebo.
There's that rain on.
Jody, do we have any other photos you
Yeah,
want to
there's a
share?
couple of, like, the bank photos that were in there. Like,
Yeah,
this is
that's the funeral home now.
So the street behind it is public.
Public street that runs
Yeah,
along.
that would be public street.
Yeah.
And it's been added on to, but that was the original thing.
Yeah, for the longest time, you could still read Bank of Augusta on there, but I think they painted over it. I don't know if it's.
Yeah, you can't read it now. I've tried to read it for a long number of years and I can't see it anymore. Usually you could see it.
The original vault is in there. It's still in there.
You can't get it
Yeah.
out there.
There's nobody to.
Paul was on the interior of that building, working in there, and he invited me in to see the bank vault, it's still in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've seen that on Facebook or, you know, like, one thing, with the Legion, down through the years, where you change officers every so often, and you turn the book papers over and hand it to them, and then it goes to the next guy, and the next guy, and it goes on for 70 years. I wonder wonder where, that deed is. Probably in the safe deposit box at the Bank of Dutzel. Who's got the key? Well, that got passed down too, and there's no key anymore. Couldn't find the key, so, well, we want to get out of there what's in there, see what's, what it is. Maybe it's a lot of money. So we paid to get it drilled, and they opened it up and it was empty.
Empty.
Joke's on you.
So, that's the life of the Legion, pretty much.
And you guys always had a service too for when a veteran passed away. I guess that all ended when you guys closed this down as well.
Well, we'll still do a funeral home, a wake service.
You do still do that?
Yeah, we did one for Vic. And we'll go back there, we did one for Jerry, and
You do.
we'll do that. We'll do what the family requests. If the family wants one, we'll do it. But we couldn't doing it at the cemetery because we don't have the manpower anymore. It would look pretty bad if we tried it. So, but that is available. VFW from Washington does it. They do a real good job at the cemetery.
You just have to contact them.
That's a picture of the.
Yeah. Anybody wants to see that checkbook, it's up here. But
So switching back, then yes, the checkbook is here on the table, but if you could tell the story, I know that there's a few things in there that are worth noting.
That's the last.
Sorry, just the last check.
Hey, you looked through it better than I did. I never looked through it. But, no, the first check was written in, what, 1920, 1921. And the last one was 1931. They did, they kept track of it, nickels and dimes back then.
Did they get their money out of there before it closed?
I don't know. Look, check it out and see what was the balance on the last check. We'll see what it
$104.31.
was. That it? Okay, that's
Just
right.
if you subtract that, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, it looks like it's a.
Sally's good with math.
$9.30.
Yes, 109.31.
That might have been what they lost. I never, I guess Miney would have had that book at that time. Well, my understanding was Home Association. When I joined, that was 68, and well, he was World War I. So I don't know if he had the book at that time or not.
So Norbie, have you gone on the honor flight? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you do that?
Jennifer?
You can look at my photo, you're wrong. Say, I don't know, 17 or 18?
Yeah, was it 17?
I can check.
Yeah, 17 or 18.
You want to care to elaborate on that? I know my dad just thought that was awesome. That was one of the best highlights of his life.
Yeah, well, I went to a dinner, chicken fry over to VFW, and where you sign up, they were doing something, I don't know where they got my name, and he said, well, you found out I was in service. You ever been on a veteran flight? I said, no. You want to go? Yeah. So that was all there was to it. Then they started doing, we had to do the paperwork.
It's a long day. What time did they start you at that morning?
2:30 at the bus depot at Mid-America Bus. 2:30, get down to Lambert at 4th. I may be halfway wrong with my times now. 4:30 or something like 4. Fly out. Fly into DC, and we sit on the plane, and what about from here to that wall away from the where you unload. We sat there and what's going on? And, I don't know, we sat there a half hour. I said, we didn't have to think over there, we're gonna load over there. We sat there. Finally, we unloaded. And we walked, we went into the air terminal, then we found out why. Bands and George Washington and all kinds of people clapping and everything. That was neat. We clapped. Then, I guess the best part was board a bus. I don't know how far we were, 15, 20 miles from the Capitol or whatever. And about parting the waters. And guys on the motorcycles up front. We went 50 mile an hour down the interstate, and there was wall-to-wall traffic. And this ain't the first time it happened. People in DC know what was coming. And the guys on the motorcycle in front of us had their signs going, get out of the way, we're coming through. And that one motorcycle cop in front, he pulled up alongside his car, wouldn't get over. Bam, 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 he beat on the car. He got over. The traffic, yeah. And then, boy, we went to the memorials, went to the, what was the first one? Was it the Navy? I can't remember now, but it was just a little square. It has historical etchings and pictures in the concrete. And we was there about 20 minutes or whatever, got back on the bus. And then some guys said they had talked to Bob Dole. I didn't see him, but they say Bob Dole likes to be at all those veterans things, and he'll kick your hand. He was really, really good. And then we went. Boy, you put me on the spot now. I can't remember all this stuff. But World War II Memorial, that was recently built, and it was all touching. You know, I went to the Vietnam Wall, and I had been there before, but it still sobers you up pretty quick. And then we went to the Korean one, and I had never been there before. I don't know if anybody else has been there, seen that Korea Memorial.
Yeah.
That is just about spooky, I thought. All dressed in white, just ponchos on and rain. It was good. Then we come back home and flew into Lambert, and we get off, and here you got music, and word got out somehow. Anyway, my whole family was there. You know, everybody's family, I believe. Brothers and sisters, grandkids, everybody was there. So, it was good. It was good. And we was at the airport. I guess I had the airport in DC waiting to board. Well, you don't spend any money. I mean, everything you want to pay for it. You want something, they'll get it for you. I had a guy assigned me, and I don't know where he went, but I went to the soda machine, you put $1 and he gave me a soda. Whoa, 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 whoa. You don't do that. He come up behind me all of a sudden. It didn't cost me a dime. But they're going to do their last one this year now, I believe. I saw somewhere. They're folding. Yeah. Oh, I guess probably lack of people. Maybe they sent everybody that wants to go, or well, there's one in Washington that's closing. But other ones maybe. I can't say. But
Couple of people working, been running a long time.
They started and they ended, yeah. Yeah, Judge Jerry Davis, he was one of the first ones.
Well, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Fun and an honor to do it too.
Yeah, Didn't know if I'd ever do it or the chance would ever come, but it came.
Well, I'm glad it did.
It was good.
How recently or long ago was that day that you flew to DC? When
17 or 18, I can't.
2017. I found the pictures.
When was it?
2017.
2017, October something.
October 21st.
Okay, 2017, so it was, luckily we got it done before COVID did, otherwise
Exactly.
it wouldn't have happened.
did they land at there's a small airport that's, I think they call it Reagan?
They landed at Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I landed in Baltimore, we flew out of Dulles. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we landed in Baltimore, that was about 30 miles from DC, that's when you got on a bus.
I was right over there. On a bus.
Yeah, that was interesting the way I was talking to one patrolman during one of our breaks. I said, boy, you gotta have some nerve to get upside the car and slap it. He said, yeah, I'll get over it. He kind of enjoyed that work, he said.
So how'd you get in the insurance business?
My dad was a agent back in the 60s. No, well, go back before that. He wrote insurance policies around here for New Hope. And I'm sure he had your dad. But, and then New Hope, well, got too small. You gotta get bigger. And so they joined with Farmers Mutual Insurance of Warren County. And when Dad passed away in 1980, and then they wanted me to take over his business, and I didn't want the insurance business. I didn't want to be hassled with it, but in about 83, they wanted me to wonder if I'd run for the board. I said, yeah, put my name down. So found out later I was the only name on there, so kind of a con job. But Farmers Mutual Insurance of Warren County, we're now Bent Oak Mutual Insurance because between computers and people don't give a hoot. There's a lot of Farmers Mutual Insurance companies of 40 or 50 counties in Missouri or more. And people would write checks to Farmers Mutual Insurance, and somehow they would get lost in the mail. They would end up at a different mutual insurance. Then their grace period here would run out, so we'd have to threaten to cancel them. I send you the check. Where's it at? Well, and then one went to Nottoway County. They cashed it. They put it in the bank. The bank ran it right through. It was made out to us, but people don't look at it anymore. And what was Farmers Insurance Group? We were getting mistaken for that. So the best way to do it is change our name, which some people didn't like because of the historical factor, but we went to Bent Oak, which I don't know if the Bent Oak is the billboard of yesteryear. They say when the pioneers came through to mark the way, they would take a young oak tree, bend it over and tie it so it would grow crooked. And that would be, go that way. So that's the story of the Bent Oak. And there's one of them on top of Hopewell Hill yet that I assume is a bent oak tree because you go through there and on the left there's a tree. It's dead now, but it's still bent like that. And
There's one by the Snook store in Warrenton.
is that the original yet? Oh,
You can see it from 70 when you go by.
okay.
Because that's called Bento Plaza there.
Yeah, but I didn't know that there was an actual tree there yet.
Yeah, there is.
But that's kind of where bent oak comes from. So we, when I started, we were in a we rented two rooms. And the 2 rooms weren't as big as that addition, about half that size. Then in 1990, we bought a building across the street where we moved into. And we were there. We kind of outgrew it. And roof leaked, walls were leaning out. And then the city of Warrenton comes along and wants us to make it look historical. And we weren't much in favor of that. So we ended up buying a plot, and we built our own building, which cost way too much money. But 5 years ago, when interest rates were, well, we got surplus money in CDs and stuff. They was earning 1%. We figured that we could build a building, and our building would increase in value by more than 1% a year. So that's what we did. And sidekick, we're having our grand opening day after tomorrow. But it's very modern building. It is, if you want to come, so it's open house, so you know, come check it out.
Where's that at, Warrenton?
Warrenton, between the library and Pittman Funeral, right here on 47. But we've had people from the state office come down, and it's the envy of the insurance, mutual insurance in Missouri. We have it's very, it's sharp, I think.
Nice, good for you.
We got people complain they can't sit at their desk all day anymore because you got to get up. So we got a desk with a hydraulic on to raise the desk up. You can stand there and work. Guitar stand, lower it back down.
That's good.
Don't want to hear about you complain about it. But there's the board. Second one on the left from this end is Glenn Ritter. You might know him. Gerald Schultz, left in front. Glenn Ritter, John Dobesmeyer from Montgomery County. Now this is embarrassing. From Ryan. It's me, Bruce Draper, Paul Craig. Young guy there is Alex Helt. Wendell Massman from New Valley. And Randy Tiefenthaler, who's from Walk Point. He's a manager that's retiring. We just hired a new manager, Bobby Lear. She's from Polk County, Mutual Insurance. We stole her away from there. She's really sharp. And, that's the board.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I do. You've been involved in the Augusta community in other avenues other than just the Legion. So you've been on the fire department here in Augusta. And then I also know you coached some girls softball. You had some...
I had some really good players, didn't I?
Yeah, you had a lot of patience, I'll tell you that. A lot of patience to teach those little girls how to play softball. So that was down here in the ball field. So if you have any memories of that or something on the fire department you'd like to share.
No. I lived about 4 or 5 miles out of town and always thought I was too far away from the fire department. Roland Struckhoff asked me a couple times to join the fire department. Too far away. Nah, you're never too far away. You can always find something to do. And he was right. But he's the one that talked me into joining it. Been 40 years or in the 80s sometime, I guess. For 7.
So the fire department in Augusta is volunteer fire department.
Yes.
How do they pay their bills? Where do they get the money from?
You pay a tax
Pay
every year.
taxes.
Ah,
It's a tax-based entity.
Yeah.
Because I know they're not having dinners on Sundays.
No?
Memorials, they sometimes,
Ah.
memorials too, sometimes, memorials.
Yeah, memorials to the fire department. We get some good ones. People really appreciate it. No, it used to be a tag system. You had to pay, what, a couple dollars a year for the tag.
Yeah.
But then we went to the tax assessment, 70s, 60s. I don't remember when,
Late 30s.
Found some tags that.
Did you have something to do with the rebuilding of the levee? Kind of in an emergency situation, rallying the troops or something?
Yeah. Well, that'd be the bottom. One you're referring to is, was it 2017 when it broke? Or 2000?
Christmas, is that your
No, Baggerman, yeah, Baggerman's. Well, you got to deal with the Corps of Engineers, and, well, losing dates now, but anyway, it boiled down to, we have to buy crop insurance for our crops to be eligible for any government thing, or it is about force you to do it. And it was coming down to pay $30 an acre, 30-some dollars an acre for crop insurance, or spend $30 an acre, about what it costs us for us to build a levee ourselves. So the Corps, anybody deals with government, you can't give them a move. We can push it off to tomorrow, we'll do it next week. So finally, we all decided we're gonna fix it ourselves, assess it. It's gonna cost us $30 an acre to fix it, or $30 an acre for insurance.
I don't think we could get insurance if we didn't have protection.
Right.
Wasn't it gonna cost us 30? Or,
I don't know.
You could get it, you could get insurance without the protection, but it's gonna be a high rate.
Exactly.
yeah. So it was time for push come to shove, and we finally talked to court. We have to do, landowners have to do 20%, the government pays 80%. That's what it boiled down to. And how was it? Our 20% was going to cost us X number of dollars, and we could take that and just about put the dirt back ourselves. So the farmers in the bottom, what do we have, 9 or 10 tractors running down there? And at least that many scrapers. And we figured we moved 50,000 yards in 8 days. We was like ants down here. And then we got our done, right, it had to be done by the 1st of March, and we beat it by 2 days or something like that. But
I don't know how we did it, but the Corps accepted.
well, we had it back to height.
Yeah, we had it back pipe, we didn't do any inspection, didn't do any surveying.
You got the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, bottom line.
Yeah.
They know too, they're slow as molasses, but the guys that know it can't do a thing about it.
Did you work pretty much around shifts all the way around, and folks bringing lunch and what have you
Yep.
during that?
Yeah, we didn't refuse any food. There's a couple of cases of beer too, I believe, up here, but no, it was, old John Bowman had, well, Randy ran the, keeping it all in order, run it down and make sure it went in at the right levels and stuff. But we got her done.
We had 2 good companies running it.
Huh?
How Long.
Yeah, Howes was there too.
I think that became a national news story at some point. About you taking care of the levees yourselves. I'm pretty sure it made it into some national magazine or broadcast.
We never got paid for that though.
I talked about it in River Township, sure.
He had been on Channel 9 a couple of times, but
Drag dummy is what I did.
did you?
Yeah.
Must have missed that. You got a copy of that?
I know where your desk is.
I knew I'd heard something about it.
Yeah, one time, well, I was on it back in, that was 93, I guess, when we couldn't get it done, and we had Congressman Volkmer out here, and he listened to our cries, and we was down at the depot down there, and well, who's in charge of this? And why can't we get it done? Volkmer says, you got to talk to the colonel. And don't do any good. And what did Layton say? Better take that bird and put it where the sun don't shine. Oh boy, we're in trouble now. But never heard any more, but you got a point across, I guess.
Do we have any other questions that anyone would like to ask? Different subject or fond memories?
You didn't really talk about your childhood and growing up and how things have changed, especially on the farm in the last however many years that
would be. Well, I can remember Dad having 2 horses, but I can't remember him working. And he had an F12, and he traded that in for an H. I remember that. But Vincent Guy, Struckhoff, the neighbors to us, they check road corn yet with horses. I can remember that. They had corn shocks where they shock their corn and then they go out in the wintertime and pick it. I remember Mom and Dad milking cows by hand yet, just barely. And well, we built our dairy barn in '48. And I still got a picture in my mind of them building it. I was 3 years old, which I guess is possible, but and Landon Miner said he was building it out of blocks. What else we want to?
So when did you switch over from dairy to beef cattle?
2000 Lawrence. We always did have a few beef cattle, but my brother turned 62 in 2000, and he did the milking. And he's going to retire when he turns 62. So he retired. Next week the cows went down the road. So I wasn't going. Milking cows, that's every day and twice on Christmas. And it just never appealed to me.
Didn't he fall off a silo?
Yeah. Yeah,
What year was that? Sorry.
01. I'm trying to think of Barb, you might remember.
What? August.
Lawrence fell off the silo, that was in August, I guess.
I think September 6th, and when was that that he died?
He passed away on September
His
6th.
funeral was the day before
Yeah.
September 11th.
We buried it before 9/11.
Yes, yes, the day before.
I remember that. But, yeah, he had a farm accident in 71 that really knocked him for a loop. had a hard time remembering. After that, he had some brain damage. And in 01, he climbed up the saddle to, we moved the unloader, the saddle's unloader up to fill it, and then had to tie it off up there. And he climbed up to do it, and the ladder going up the chute, every stave was 30 inches. Every other stave was a door that you clamped in and out. And I think he was standing on the door that you clamped, and while he was working, the door gave way, and he just went down.
Fell into the silo?
No, fell down the chute where he was standing. So he fell 60 feet on the concrete, and stand. He survived. He lived, 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that, fighting it, but wasn't.
Did you used to hunt in the floodplain when you were young?
Hunt?
Yeah, like ducks, geese?
Would never hunter.
Okay.
I would say we had too much meat in the freezer from beef and hogs and chicken. Didn't have to go find something.
Well, Norbie, what did you do for fun?
Well, played softball. We had softball leagues down there, ball diamond. Well, we started on Augusta diamond, school diamond, and went down to the bottoms. Every year we played softball league till the kids started playing ball. Then I kind of went that way, coach.
Watched them and coached, yeah.
Well, I had two girls. I guess you can see I managed both of them teams. The boys I coached or helped. I don't think I ever had the main title. But
Somebody told me recently that those big lights down in the ball diamonds came from the old Bush Stadium. Do you know anything about that?
that'd be a Raymark question there.
How do you see the future of Augusta moving forward?
Is this like one of those Vegas questions?
How do I see it moving forward?
Your hopes for Augusta?
Well, we hope is that it don't change, but that ain't gonna happen.
Well,
Hopefully it stays basically rural. The woods and hills are a good place to build houses. So that'll probably keep expanding. But with slow growth, you can adapt. You got somebody that comes in and buys up 400 acres and he's gonna put 1,000 homes on it. That would be disastrous in my mind. I don't. But change is inevitable. And, so far, I think we're adapting as we go, and it's good.
yeah.
As long as people have a strong faith foundation or responsibility foundation, we'll be okay. When people come in and don't respect, that's when you run into trouble. So.
Yeah, and there's such a community feel here, protective. It feels very protective, where you want to preserve the history, the memories. The community feel here is really strong. So when I ask, what do you see in the future, it speaks loudly, the community and the people here. So can you elaborate more on just the people you've known, the memories you've made? Relationships are everywhere, and all the years you've been here. And then your family too.
Yeah, it's a very tight-knit community. You've had some people marry and move in, and they say it takes a few years to get accepted.
Well, this I know, since
Yeah.
I'm from Minnesota.
Maybe you can do.
So I felt it, but I love it. I love every moment of it. So I'm asking, because you've been here so long, that, I can see it already, and it's wonderful to see the community here. And that's why I enjoyed being such a big part of it. And so you, for all these years living here, have felt all of that. And
Yeah,
seen so much.
I don't know what it feels like to be an outside from somebody moving in. I have no idea how that feels, but
Right. Well, I'm intrigued when I listen to you and many others, because that's how I get my information. That's how I get to know everybody. And actually, before I was sitting here helping with the interview, doing these for Paul, I sat in the audience, and that was my way of, who's that? And then and Glenda was a big help. Glenda could help me learn my way around town. So from an outsider in, I see the charm, and I love hearing these stories. But since you've been here and you don't know what it's like to be the outsider, it's interesting for the outsiders or the transplants. Is that what Alan was calling it last month? A transplant? Ship-in. There's another one too. Yeah. A ship-in.
Ship-in. I moved here in 1985, and I was called ship-in. Since then.
you weren't gonna last, huh? You be gone.
And so that's why I asked what you see future moving forward with the community, is just because you've been here this long, and really this is your home, and your legacy is here and passed down to your children. So they're going to be a big part of this area as well. So what are your hopes for the future?
That stays, I don't want to see big change, but little change, but I hope it stays rural community.
So what is your feeling too, and hopefully I'm not opening a can of worms here, but with I know you're a man, your family has been strong faith, raised in the Catholic religion, with what's going on with the Archdiocese closing down some of the churches now. Is Immaculate Conception safe for now, or have you heard any news regarding that?
We haven't heard anything official. Officially, it'll come Pentecost Sunday, I think May 23rd, the bishop. 28th. But it seems like they're not going to really close churches right now. They're going to combine churches. Guy can talk better than I can on it, but pastorates were
Run by the Archdiocese.
Yeah, it'll all be run by the Archdiocese, yeah. But it'll be clusters of 2, 3, or 4 parishes as we know them, managed by one priest. But right now, it looks like we'll stay open. But the parishes that are going to be joined, each one will have its own books, will have its own identity, but it'll be under an umbrella, I guess you might call it. But and that's the way I expect them to do it this spring. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it'll evolve. But we don't know how. But as long as we're solid, both financially and faithically, that ain't a word, but in faith, where we're strong, unity, I hope we can go carry on. You got anything to add to that, Connie? Yeah, we know nothing officially, but just
wasn't turned into a conversation on that, I was just curious.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll be around a while. Right now it looks like it, but 10 years from now, I won't have worked on it.
Well, Norbie, do you have any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to add as we conclude?
Well, you're surprised that people come out and listen to hear what I had to say. Most of them, they don't want to listen to what I say.
We wanted to hear what you had, and we're glad that you're here.
But I enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I know you ain't leaving a whole lot smarter, but maybe there might be something. Like I said, there's some pictures over there from our parades.
Check out the book, the checkbook here.
Checkbook.
This is the whole reason that we're sitting here is because Paul took that out of the building.
Otherwise, thank everybody for the support of the Legion. And we enjoy seeing you on Memorial Day, that you support us. Am I leaving anything out?
I just want to say one thing, Harvey. As you and Dad, as I'm the youngest from here, I know I'm not, but you and Dad and those people on that picture that made this Legion what it was, what it is, I can't thank you enough. You know, when I was on the parish council back in 1990, I guess you were the parish council president. And I stayed involved because of people like you and people like my dad. And I want to thank you for your support of this community.
Thank you. Never the kindest words I heard all day. But getting back to your dad again. Any idea how many years he was commander?
Me? I have no idea. I just know we came up here to clean this hall after some weddings. I would say, I guess, that one of my fondest memories would be coming up here and cleaning the hall. Or we got the option of going out on the farm to feed the pigs.
I'm glad you go clean the hall, because I look at the things.
Everyone in here knows that. I would rather come up here because there might be a chance I'd run into somebody. I don't know how long he was commander, but I also remember Mom a few years as she was struggling, and she would say, "Oh, if it would just snow on New Year's Eve, I would have to go to the Legion. It's so cold." But they always got his wish. They got to go.
Yeah, what, 15, 20 years I bet he was commander. I can't swear to it, but
A long time.
a long time. And if he hadn't been here, this probably never would have happened. Something else would have come along before it was cool to have a cultural center. I don't know. I can't answer that. But I know he
People enjoy that German potato salad.
Well, good. Thank you, everybody, for coming out on, like I said, Valentine's Day, and we get to spend it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, thank you. And because I just wanted to put out, we have these surveys here just to tell me how I did, or how you heard about it, or what you would ask differently, or anything. You could write anything in those. We also have the owl over here that Paul has made, and that's to donate to help Paul in his stories. We also could donate to the museum, but this is, oh, there we go. He had that custom made, and he's very proud of it. So we could turn it back on if you want to hear it again. And there's a story behind the owl as well. But if you'd like to donate to help Paul in his stories, I think he's doing such a fantastic job. Even though he's not sitting here with us, he will be watching, and he handpicked you, Norbie.
Yeah, he probably critiqued me.
He'll critique me. How about that? Good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.